Does the question matter? Hey friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Elizabeth and I share deck flip-throughs, spreads, VRs, and so much more. Today I'm doing a VR to Kara over at Kara Tarot. Hashtag, does the question matter? So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to use the same deck and we are going to pull cards, and then we're going to use those same cards to answer a completely different question. So same deck, same cards, same spread positions, different questions. I'm going to start with this spread right here, Grow with the Flow. So it's 3 questions, a card to celebrate, a card to learn from, and a card to release. I'm going to set that aside and give the deck a shuffle. This was a spread that I got from the Current Hermit on Instagram. Grow with the Flow. So a card for what to celebrate. Okay, 7 of Earth. That to the side. All right. A card to learn from. Oh, the Lovers. And something to release. Right back here. Oh, the Devil. All right. Here we have card number 1, something to celebrate. So the card is the 7 of Earth. You know, this is a celebration that all the work is currently being done, and all that is required is a little bit of patience because we're part of the way through. You know, the 7 of Earth is that card of sticking to something diligently, being patient, perseverance, hanging in there, and kind of waiting to reap the rewards of what you've been working towards. So, something to celebrate. Look how far we've come. We're almost there. The bounty is before us. So many beautiful things that come to mind when we think about this card of harvest. Now, something to learn. We have the Lovers. I like to think of this card as a card of choice, as a card of a commitment. No, certainly a card of love and also passion. There's a lesson to learn when we make this level of commitment, you know, either to ourselves or to another person, right? There's something to learn from that. Every single person that comes into our life comes in, and there's always something to learn from that relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be in your life forever. It could be a season, right? But there's always a reason. There's always a reason why people come into our lives. And this Lovers card is asking us to look at those commitments that we currently have in our life and see where we have opportunities to learn, perhaps from past mistakes, to do things better the next time. And then we have what to release. Well, how ironic that we should have the Devil come up in this card. So what do we need to release? Maybe there are things that we are doing that are not in alignment with what we should be doing. We're being held back. We're being restricted. We're being limited. And a lot of times that's self-imposed, right? We get into these situations and we find ourselves feeling like it's so difficult to get out of them. So what can we release? Maybe this is unhealthy habits, right? Maybe it's materialism. Maybe it's lack of willpower. What is it in your life that you find holds you back time and time again that we keep repeating over and over? I can't help but think with the seven of earth that perhaps we're repeating the same thing over and over again. And that's what we're seeing here in the devil. And I can't help but notice that we have the lovers and the devil. If you take 1 and 5 and reduce it, you get 6. So this is something that starts amazing, but then somehow something goes haywire and we end up in this devil energy instead, right? So, what can we look back on to learn to correct the mistakes for the future? That's what the devil is asking us to take a look at here. All right, so that is my grow with the flow spread. So now I'm going to leave the same exact cards here and we are going to change the spread. All right, move this here. We are going to do this fairy tale spread. This is by Tarot on the Moon in Instagram. And I'll leave it here. Oh, actually, it cuts it off a little bit. So let me just read the questions. And maybe what I'll do is push these up a little bit so that we can still keep this here. Okay. All right. So here in the fairy tale spread, we have a wish, an obstacle, and a lesson. So what are we wishing for? You know, perhaps we're wishing for time to go by faster. Perhaps we're wishing that we didn't have to work as hard. Perhaps we're wishing that we had someone to help us along, right? It wouldn't feel so hard if we were doing it with another person. So here is our wish, seven of earth. With that card, maybe we were wishing that we had picked something that wasn't that difficult to do or to accomplish. Or maybe we wish that we didn't feel so limited. Let's move on to obstacles. So for obstacle, we have the lovers. Now, as I mentioned, the lovers, I see this as a choice, right? Something that we've committed to. Well, we can already see a theme here if we're having doubts about what we're doing, right? So, what could be the obstacle? Perhaps the commitment. You know, maybe you committed to it and you kind of feel like, well, I already said I was going to do it. So now I kind of have to see it through to the end because what will people say? What will people think? Right? These are those, limiting ideas that come in, those thoughts that kind of get in the way. And so sometimes we make commitments to things that don't align with us. But then, even though we recognize that it doesn't work for us, we stick to it anyways because we said that we would. But that isn't always the best thing to do. And so, what's the lesson here? Ironically, the devil card. The lesson is that we recognized that the commitment was too great, that perhaps it wasn't the best thing to do. But now we've made the choice, so we're going to stick to it no matter how restricted we feel. Because at some point along the line, we felt passionate about whatever it was that we started out to do, right? This started out as a beautiful energy here. But somewhere along the line, things veered. And we started to feel the weight of the decision, of the choice that we made. And maybe we start to think no one will understand. They will think XYZ. We spend a lot of time worrying about what other people think. But at the end of the day, what matters is how we feel, how our decisions make us feel, right? So here with this fairy tale spread, Sometimes we wish for something and then we come to find out that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, right? It turns into an obstacle. But now we've made the commitment, right? Now we said we were going to do the thing. So now what are we going to do? Well, we're going to keep on going. Are we? Or are we going to learn the lesson? Are we going to release? Are we going to let it go? And I think the first part of this is making amends with yourself, right? Unraveling all the thoughts in our own minds and stop worrying so much about what other people are going to think or say. Ooh, that's so good. All right, so that was the fairy tale spread. Let's keep going. So this is a spread from Coffee with the Fool on Instagram, and it's a birthday spread. So let's say that the questions are, what did I learn from being, let's say that this is a milestone, right? So let's say 49. What did I learn while being age 49? What to celebrate today? And what can I look forward to being 50? So let's think of it that way. I'm going to set it down here and we'll look at the cards together. So we have, what did I learn while being age 49? Well, maybe with the Seven of Earth, we learned to become more patient. We learned to see things through. We learned the value of putting in the hard work and sticking to things in order to see the fruit of our labors. And maybe we were even able to share it with someone else. And then moving on to the second question, what to celebrate today? Maybe something to celebrate is the commitments that we have made to ourselves. The fact that we put ourselves first, that we love ourselves, that we're committed to continuing to grow, right? I take it if a person is coming and they're doing this birthday spread, that they're a person that does a little bit of self-reflective work and they're looking for ways to continue to grow and to evolve in life. And so maybe this is something that we could celebrate, is this the fact that we chose us. We put ourselves first. We made the commitment to celebrate the things that we have done, the accomplishments that we have achieved thus far. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And then the last question, what can I look forward to being age 50? Well, perhaps here with this devil card, maybe this is an invitation. Like, where do we have too many restrictions, too many limitations? Where are we not letting ourselves have a little bit of fun? Because sometimes this card shows up to let us know, hey, it's okay to let your hair down every once in a while and do the thing that you don't allow yourself to do. Maybe you're constantly on a diet and you want to splurge. Maybe you never buy yourself anything nice. Maybe you never plan trips for yourself and you want to do that as a gift to yourself to honor the commitments to you. There's a lot of things that we do. We impose these restrictions and limitations on ourselves. Like, oh no, I couldn't possibly wear that. Oh, I couldn't possibly do this, or I couldn't possibly, like whatever it is. There's so many things, right? And maybe this card is coming up to say, it's okay. It's okay to do things, everything in moderation. That's the whole point. We have to do things in moderation. Sometimes it's okay. Put on your party dress and go out and have a night on the town and have a couple of cocktails. All that is okay. It's totally fine. So maybe what can I look forward to? Maybe stop holding yourself back as much. Allow yourself space to do the things that you want to do. Stop waiting for tomorrow, for later, for next year, for when I retire. No, do it now. Maybe that's what that's saying. This is a lot of fun. I mean, I'm going to say, I already, before starting this exercise, knew that, of course, I feel that the question matters because in tarot, I do believe that, yes, we could go in and say, oh, I'll take a general reading, please. We can do that, right? And we're going to get a reading and maybe it resonates, maybe it doesn't. But when we have specific questions, we get specific answers, right? And so I already knew that this was going to be fun to do to kind of prove the point. And I'm happy that I did this. And I'm thankful to Kara for tagging me and also for letting me know because I don't always get the notifications. Um, through YouTube. So thank you so much. This was a very fun exercise. Of course, I always appreciate any opportunity to play with my decks and to experiment and explore, and also to help kind of, give your intuition a little bit of a workout, right? It's fun to try to read cards in completely different ways based on the questions that we have. So thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. And I look forward to watching others' VRs to Kara. And friends, don't forget, if you love tarot and you love to do activities like this, remember to subscribe, tap the bell icon so that you never miss any of my videos. Appreciate you so much. Bye.